Look at the climate change. When it's climate change and it's global warming, the temperature is rising rapidly. Yes. Basically causes poverty as well.
Yes.
It also challenges your economic stability as well.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the new episode of Leaders Lounge. I am Sham Jameel Economy Wala, and today I am truly honored to be speaking with a highly respected expert, Mr. Amjad Siddique, who has been working globally on some of the most urgent issues of our time: climate change, climate biodiversity, forest, sustainability, and also global warming, and with significant contributions across regions like Pakistan and also Saudi Arabia. And Mr. Amjad Siddique not just bring knowledge but also real-world digital experience in driving the environmental impact. So today the discussion with the Mr. Amjad Siddique aims to explore solutions, raise awareness and inspire actions. So let's dive into her journey of resilience. So let's start our today's call. First of all, Assalamu alaikum sir, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm good. How about you?
I'm also fine. First of all, to begin, sir, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background in the field and all the fields you're working on?
Well, my education started from having expertise and masters in forestry and wildlife conservation. And after that, it's been like more than 14 years since I've been working in the forestry, environment and climate change. Not in Pakistan, but expectedly, if you expect like, if you say Middle East, specifically Dubai, UAE, you could be, and then Pakistan itself, and then nowadays I'm based at Saudi Arabia. Well, I started my career by conserving and managing the forest and combating the desertification and land degradation, and that started from Middle East, and then I came back to Pakistan and started working with a well-known organization which is IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, which works for the conservation of nature, biodiversity and climate change and all that. And later on I got prestige to work with the private sector, where I was in the oil sector, where I was the general manager for environmental compliance, and I worked on automobile industry, where how could we transform, I was the automobile industry or logistics, you could say, industry into environmental conservation and to reduce the carbon footprint and all. Then I got a chance to get into the government of Pakistan, where I was the director of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, where I was the director of 10 billion tree tsunami program, which illustrated to plant 10 billion trees across Pakistan. So I was also director for that program. Later on, I got a chance to move into Saudi Arabia, where now Saudi Arabia is planning to plant 10 billion trees in Saudi Arabia. And they are planning to combat the desertification. They are planning to combat the global warming and climate change. And I'm right now advisor on the forestry and climate change in the KSA government.
In the Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia.
Okay. So thank you so much for giving an inspiring introduction, and it's always interesting to learn how an expert tell this. So now can you tell us that what inspired you to work in the global warming and field of climate change and sustainability?
Well, you could say sometimes your career starts from your own house. My father used to work in the forest department, and similarly I belong to the northern areas of Pakistan, if you could say the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, Abbottabad, our home place, Kalyani, where I was always attracted towards the nature. I used to see the forest, I used to visit my hometown, and this inspired me a lot. And since from childhood I was watching my father as well. I was living in a forest-based colony where my father. So this inspired me to opt as a career in environmental or climate change or forest, you could say.
Okay, that's truly motivational. So now can you tell us that in simple terms, what is climate change and why is it a critical global issue? Because many people don't know about the climate change.
Well, you could say, I would rather say that climate change or global warming is basically linked with every disaster or every, you could say, problem rising in our, you could say, across the communities. You could relate it with everyone. If you could see the Sustainable Development Goals, this is SDGs from the United Nations, if you consider each and everything is cross-cutting the other social issue. So when you look at the climate change, when it's climate change and it's global warming, the temperature is rising rapidly, the energy crises are coming across, the drought is another issue, and then similarly when there is drought, when there is climate change, when there is so much of heat, when there is so much of pollution, industrialization, it basically causes poverty as well.
Yes.
It also challenges your economic stability as well. So you could relate the environmental challenges across every factor, every sector within your communities or your organization or your everywhere, you know. So you could see these challenges of right now, you could see the drought is a huge issue right now, like the water challenges, the sanitation issues, the hygiene issues, they arise from these all issues of environmental crisis, similarly deforestation, land degradation. All of these things are basically basic factors which are contributing towards the environmental challenges, and then they are linked towards poverty, linked towards everything.
Yes, you are totally right. I agree to you. And like, what do you think that what is the major causes of the climate change nowadays, specifically in the regions like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia?
Well, you could say like it's not about, it's more or less the same challenges, but maybe the magnitude is bigger or less. So in terms of Pakistan, we are blessed with a very good geographical condition. We have got mountains, we have got rivers, we have got good rainfall, we have got everything. But then when you see there are lots of sequences of events, series of events coming in Pakistan. For example, the heat waves. There were no heat waves earlier. Like this much of heat waves, and the temperature is rising globally. If you could narrate the figures, the 1.5 degrees centigrade rise in the temperature is globally happening right now. Sea level is rising right now. So when there is rise in the temperature, so the glaciers in Pakistan, which are in northern areas, they melt faster. When they melt faster, they cause flooding. When the flood comes, they come and the plain areas down the stream, it brings lots of floods and lots of mud and all that, which creates instability in the communities living down the stream. Similarly, the water, the clean water for drinking is not available when these type of events come in. So I could say the global warming is a huge challenge. Similarly, rapid urbanization. There is no proper planning in Pakistan. The urbanization is a huge issue right now. People are constructing houses, they are blocking the pathways of the natural flows of water. Similarly, if you could see right now the climate change. Now before the crops which used to be ripened in the June or July, now they ripen earlier. And similarly, if you see the total way of coming of these 4 seasons in Pakistan, they have totally changed. Before it used to be like October, November, December, the winters. Now the winters are late. They are coming in November and December. Similarly, the winters stay for long. So this has changed a total the phenomena or total sequence of the weathers or the seasons in Pakistan. So I could say the major challenges in Pakistan is the drought challenge. Because if you see Sindh and all those Punjab far areas, there is a huge drought in that. The clean water issues is a huge issue. Then smog issue, the pollution issue. These are major environmental challenges. I could say air quality is another issue in Pakistan. So I could say these are the major challenges.
Pakistan is already facing the much issues, and as you told that people are rapidly constructing buildings and homes. So that's why that was the main reason of the global warming. So what do you think? How can it stop? How can it stop it, and what is the solution of global warming?
See, there are 2 things. One is you could mitigate, or you could say fight with that challenge, whatever it is. You know, you can never reduce the pollution or global warming, climate change, but you can reduce the magnitude. So what I could say is that you cannot stop it, but you can reduce the impact. How could you do that? It's not about only the public or the communities or the people. It's about the whole community or whole system in here, like the government sector, the private sector, the public sector, the communities, the private sector, the NGOs, CBOs. Everybody has to play a combined role, and effort should be from top to bottom, and everyone should be part of this thing. Government should come up with the policies, they should come up with the proper planning and proper management of the natural resources. Similarly, the communities have to abide by the laws they have to be given the alternatives. For example, a community which is dependent on the natural resources like forest resources, they are dependent on the wood in the northern areas or where they would, so you could provide them alternatives. And they could not be dependent on the forest trees, they could not cut the trees and all that. So you have to do something. You have to come up, you have to shift the country towards the renewable energy, solar energy and all that. So once you do these things, the shift from the reliability of the natural resources goes towards the other alternative, you could say, solutions where this type of problems, the magnitude get reduced and the problems get sorted.
Hello, so can you tell us some alternatives of wood?
Yeah, for example, solar energy is a very good one. Electrical stoves are a very good option. Similarly, we have done lots of, actually Pakistan Forest Department has done lots of these things. For example, NGOs have done lots of things. You could see the needles, the conifers needles, if you see the tree leaves, they have been collected and the bricks have been made, and these bricks have been used in the houses for burning and for daily uses. And so similarly, the natural gas is another one, the LPG gas is another solution. So these type of solutions, renewable energy, so these type of solutions when you provide to the communities which are dependent on the forest resources could reduce that. Similarly, ban on the plastic could also reduce lots of problems which are being caused by the plastic.
Yes.
Similarly, going towards the, you could say, the degradable bags or degradable stuff to be used. This can reduce a lot of impact. We are a huge country, a huge population, so every small drop will count and things will rapidly change.
Yes, right. Thank you so much for taking that down. Knowing this specific cause, help us to realize where the most changes need. So now can you tell us how climate change is already affecting the lives of people in these regions like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan?
A lot. It's a lot. If you see the major challenge which Saudi Arabia is facing is the drought challenge. Like there is issue of clean water. The issue of there is no water in many areas. The water has been reduced because of so much of global warming, climate change, and all that. So they are tackling it, they are handling it, but the drought is a major challenge in this country. Similarly, the land degradation. The land is degrading. When you say land degradation, the fertile land, the land which used to be fertile is degrading rapidly. Similarly, desertification. The areas where there were forests, they are converting into the deserted land.
Yes.
Because of heat waves, because of the drought, because of the rapid change in the weather and all that. So similar challenges has been faced by Pakistan as well. There were many areas, like if you see recently in our areas, like before there used to be simple water coming in the houses through the boring, through the wells in the houses, but now the water level has been decreased.
Yeah.
There is no water and everybody is facing from the clean water issues and all that. So these areas, and even if you see the Pakistan is facing the extreme weather event right now, the temperature rise which Pakistan never had in the history is going on. We are reaching towards 55 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
So these all challenges which are faced by Pakistan, and these heat waves and lots of people cannot survive these heat waves. We have a huge population which is dependent, which are working in heat-based areas in the open air, and they are exposed to the sunlight and these extreme heat events. So these are the challenges, you could say Pakistan and all Gulf countries and similarly African countries and all those countries are facing. And there are extreme weather events like tsunamis and hurricanes, and these are also the type of things which are coming in lots of countries nowadays.
Yes, you're right, and we are also facing the issue of less water in Ahmedabad because the water level is 2 degrees. And now, because the climate change is really a big issue, so I think the forests are playing a key role in it.
Yeah.
So can you explain how forests are playing a vital role in this climate change issue?
Well, we always say that forests are basically lungs of the earth.
Yes.
They basically, you could say, sequester the carbon from the air, store the carbon within their bodies, trees, and then they release the oxygen. If you see, we being humans and all those living creatures are dependent on oxygen.
Yes.
So when these trees are grown, they conserve the land, they conserve the soil, they bind the soil, they protect your land, then they store the oxygen, then the carbon dioxide, and then release the oxygen. They reduce the temperature, they make the environment pleasant, they increase the aesthetic value, the living creatures, the wildlife, the biodiversity dependent upon the forest. Your snow, because of the temperature reduced, the snow stays in these forests. Then this snow melts, and down the stream the water comes into the plains, and the people drink that water. So if you see, the forests are basically the lungs of the earth, and they play the vital role in conserving, in basically you could say basic phenomena of living on the earth is because of these forests in any country. That's why we emphasize, we pressurize, or you could say we enforce, and we critically say that forests play a vital role in any country's economy and environmental challenges and everything. That's why we are growing forests, and we promote it like we have to grow trees, and every person should plant trees.
Yes, forests are like naturally true solutions. So now can you tell us that forest conservation is facing a lot of challenges, right? What are some of the major challenges that forest conservation is facing right now?
Well, forest conservation is being, there are many challenges. Some of the key challenges are forest fires right now because of the extreme weather and climate change and global warming, extreme heat events. The forests in our northern areas, most of them are vulnerable to the forest fires. And if you see, you might have heard about in the news that lots of forests on fire in Margala Hills and all those forests. Coniferous forests are basically, like exposed to these fires. And amazingly, lots of, mainly some of the reasons are not only the natural reasons, but due to the people who are living or who are like traveling or tourists, they don't care and they throw matchsticks and they put them on fire because of negligence. So it's reciprocal. So there are voluntary actions and there are involuntary actions involved in these things. Similarly, the natural, you could say the deforestation is also an issue. Lots of cuttings of forests, illegal cutting, you could say, is also.
Finally, what's the last thing that every citizen have to do for a better planet?
Well, here I would like to say that every individual in his own or her own capacity, in every sector, they could contribute towards sustainability. It's about realizing what we can do for the environment, for the climate change, and for our coming generations. There are small things, but their impact is very big. For example, if we wake up in the morning, we do the toothbrush. So do you know how much time we open the tap and it's open? So we could reduce the tap, we could close it, and when we use it, we could use it, the tap in the same way, we use the water which is required. Similarly, every individual could plant a tree. Similarly, everyone can say no to plastic bags. Similarly, there are small which are things, but which are binded through religious point of view as well. Our religion tells us that we should not throw the garbage on the streets and roads. So we have to go sustainable. We have to realize that the pollution is basically causing our streams, our clean water channels they're disturbing them. And these small things and by the way, the youth has got the bigger impact. Our youth can play a vital role. So if our youth realizes that there are small things, but if you say that, okay, it's not like the other person is doing or not, it's about like me, by myself, I'm doing it or not. And similarly now, I would also say that everybody wants to be a doctor, everybody wants to be an engineer, but I would also say explore your career in environment, in climate change, in global warming, because it's very good. It's like it gives you pleasure, it gives you peace, and there are lots of opportunities in this sector as well. And then you'll be contributing towards the mother nature, towards our planet. So that's the message I can give.
Thank you so much for giving a really unique and important message to my viewers, and thank you so much again for giving me precious time. I really enjoyed the conversation and I learned a lot from you, and I hope my audience will also learn from it and from your vision and your insights on climate change and sustainability is like really amazing. And to all my viewers, that climate change is not a future issue; it's happening now, and we have to take a step forward. So viewers, this is today's my podcast with Mr. Amjad Siddique, and I hope you all like it. So see you in the next podcast with any new special guest. Till then, Allah Hafiz, and in end, as always, Pakistan Zindabad.